And that brings us to our main billing for tonight. And I've got Nyrie Roos, who's been patiently waiting in the wings, ready to step out on stage. She's going to talk to us about the topic, how to borrow your competitors' best customers, convert them at 5 times your current rate without spending a cent on ads or cold outreach. So for those of you that don't know Nyrie at all, she did work in the corporate world up until about 2008, and she left all that behind to enter the exciting world of internet marketing and the digital space. And in fact, she's had a really interesting career over the time she's been in the space. She's generated over $47 million in webinar sales. Well, not her personally, but she's worked with people to generate that volume of sales. And she's consulted on some fairly large internet marketing launches. No doubt some of them you have probably seen in your journey online as well. And she's co-founded the business that she runs called Explosion Marketing. So let's put your hands together. Welcome to the stage, Nyrie Roos.
Thank you for that beautiful welcome, and it's just wonderful to be with everyone here. What I'll do is I'll just share my screen and I will get straight into it. Some of you I have seen and I already know, and some of you I haven't seen before. So it's really great to be here. So let me just share my screen with you. Okay, can you see my screen?
Can indeed, all looking good.
Okay, fantastic. Okay, I've got a couple of screens here and a lot of stuff happening, so bear with me. Okay, so I'd just like to welcome you along and thank you for having me here. And just have a pen and paper ready because there's a lot I'm going to be going through and you'll want to take some notes. And if you've got any questions, like Nick said before, make sure you pop them in the chat because we will get to them at the end. And I've got some really cool things, or I think they're really cool things to share with you. And I really value your time and having me here. And my intent is to give you as much value as I can. And I'm hoping this will lead you to taking some action to change the results you are getting with your webinars. So I'd like to just start with some questions if we could. And I'd like you to be as interactive as you can all the way through in the chat and with your questions. So I'd just like to know, tell me, are you having these challenges with your webinars? Just type your response in the chat. If it's something different, please put this in the chat as well. So one of the key things I hear is poor attendance and high drop-off rates with their events and webinars. So even with strong registration numbers, actual attendance is often 30 to 50%, and it is on the decline. There is no two ways about that. And attendees may leave partway through the session, leading to disappointing engagement metrics. And secondly, I often see what I call limited lead generation and conversion. So if you're experiencing this, it's because it frequently occurs when webinars fail to move attendees through the whole sales funnel. And then I hear about weaker audience retention and follow-up engagement. So if you're experiencing this low email open rates, minimal resource downloads, and poor response call to actions, then we're going to cover off this a little bit too. And I'm hoping that this training or this session tonight will actually help you with that. And resource inefficiency. So if you're putting the time, effort, and cost invested in webinar preparation and delivery, but it doesn't yield proportional returns, then this is another thing that I'm often hearing from clients when I first start working with them. And also, what's been your biggest challenge when it comes to hosting webinars that actually drive sales? So if you just want to pop that into the chat for me, any responses or any thoughts, that would be really good because your interaction is everything. And my intention is to walk you through with an overview of how to change your story because all of these challenges are able to be overcome. Typically, I find that most people, when we drill right down to it, don't even know what their real problem is. And this is a very common thing that I hear. And it's usually due to clarity. And it's about clarity and getting really clear on what your challenges are, but what you're aiming to achieve. So if you feel like you are lacking clarity when it comes to webinars and where you're going wrong in getting registrations, people showing up and conversions, then please just pop it in the chat and just let me know. And we'll get further into this as we move along. Now, the challenges and barriers I typically identify in my analysis of poor performing events are described by my clients as feeling like they're going into a dark tunnel without a light to guide them. If you've ever felt like this, these can include things like what I call the 7 webinar launch killers. And it's orchestrating the launch and registration sequence. People just aren't sure how to do that. Content planning overwhelm, landing page optimization under pressure, and having social proof. It's really the old chicken and egg problem. What comes first? Poor registration and attendance motivators, no-show follow-up strategies, live execution anxiety, building out complex systems with many moving parts where failure at any point can derail weeks of preparation. So if you've ever experienced this, if you can drop a 1 in the chat, that will let me know that this is resonating with you. And I'm sure anyone that's done webinars at some time has experienced one or, a number of these things along the way. Yeah, number 1 seems to be a popular one. Yes, it's a big job. So stick with me until the end, because what I'm going to share with you is something that should change, and I'm hoping will change how you see webinars and start overcoming the 7 challenges of how to build a high converting webinar and sequence in under an hour using my custom AI tool, which I call Ava, which is my AI virtual assistant, and how to get warm traffic from other people's lists. I've been doing this for a long time now, and this system continues to work, and I can't see this changing anytime soon. And you'll see that Ava can become your new secret weapon for building authority and creating high converting webinars and sales presentations in minutes. No tech headaches, no writer's block, just done for your brilliance, delivered fast. And you're going to see the magic for yourself. And Asia will change how you sell forever. And I guarantee she's going to be a life-changing experience. And I'm also going to share with you my partner pitch profit framework, which is a proven way to attract high-quality clients with offers from low to high ticket without relying on social media hustle, burning through budgets, and you can start from a 0 email list. So if you're ready for this, just pop a yes in the chat and we'll just keep going. Fantastic. Thank you, Christian. Thank you, Josie, Rob. Thank you. This is just one of my clients, Dr. Liz, and she generated 28,600 recently in her first webinar working with me, and she continues using the webinar system without ad spend on a regular basis that I have refined and tested over the years, and I still use in our digital marketing agency today. It's a wash, rinse, repeat cycle. Yeah, sure, sometimes you may tweak it, but overall, it's pretty rock solid. Quick intro for some of you that do know me, some of you don't. I'm Nyrie Roos. I've consulted on hundreds of online events, helped generate over 47 million in sales from my clients, and co-founded Explosion Marketing. I've worked with global names like John Assaraf, Sean Roach, Steve Brossman, Brett Thompson, Tony Lontis, Bridget Cook-Birch, and Tony Robbins coaches. I've written a number of best-selling series of books on different marketing topics, and I speak at major summits across the globe. And I deliver webinars, of course, about our proven systems on a regular basis for both the public and as closed group presentations. So let me ask you, why webinars and why now? How webinars were originally designed was only to maximize sales, and almost always at the expense of the customer experience. Unfortunately, that model worked for a short time, but as a result, that practice destroyed the trust that customers should be able to put in someone selling a service or a product. And that same used car salesman style presentation still dominates the conventional practice today, and I'm sure you've all experienced it. Our approach raises the bar for webinars, but still manages to create an easy focus framework for marketers and business owners in practically any niche and stage of their business development. The methods drill down webinars to one simple yet critical strategy. We give value first, then we ask for the sale. Our webinars are always rooted in one thing, and we always ask this question when analysing webinars. Have we earned the right to sell to them? If you haven't done this job, you shouldn't be taking them to a call to action or a sale. So before we get into the nitty-gritty, let's just bust some myths about webinars that people just like you and me often believe and have believed in the past. Webinars are dead. The reality is they're still one of the highest converting marketing tools available. Number two, people won't sit long enough through presentations. The reality is quality content still commands 60 to 90%, 90 minutes of attention. Number three, you need perfect presentation skill and huge audiences. Reality, authenticity beats polish. Conversational delivery often converts better, and intimate webinars with 20 to 30 people often outperform massive ones when you look at the lifetime value of clients. Expensive tech is required. The reality is simple setups with good audio often outperform overproduced presentations. Fifth, free webinars attract tire kickers and everyone expects everything for free now. The reality is free webinars consistently generate high value leads and good paid ones. And number five, you must pitch aggressively, and it won't work in my niche. The reality is soft sells and problem-focused content convert better than hard pitches, and every niche has successful webinar conversion stories. And for those of you who love statistics, just a few webinar facts here. Webinar usage by entrepreneurs has jumped 15% since 2020, and I think we all know the catalyst for that. Live webinars are the leader in lead generation, 89% of leads compared to just 11% from on-demand, but that is changing, so beware of that. On-demand is now starting to surge ahead. 60-minute webinars have the highest average registrations. 90-minute webinars have the highest attendance rates at 72%, which is interesting. 20 to 40% of webinar attendees go into your sales pipeline. 98% plan, this is business owners and marketers, to enhance their webinars with AI in the next 12 months. No surprises there. And email marketing is the winner for webinar registrations. So just keep that in mind. Email marketing is the winner. And research shows 95% of marketing professionals view virtual presentations as the premier method for attracting qualified prospects. The reason? Time together and excellence in delivery cultivates what matters most in business. You can hesitate a guess at what this is. It's trust. Now, I want you to just stop for a moment and visualize this. Your last major purchase decision for your professional services. Have you got that in your head? You felt trust and confidence in the provider, understood exactly what you'd received, and believe in achieving your desired results. Effective online webinar presentations create identical feelings of trust and confidence, understanding and certainty about your offerings. And trust is such an important word in sales. And I'm sure you've heard that said many, many times. Webinars provide visibility, voice, and direct experience unlike any other digital medium, reaching perfect prospects globally without costly travel or having to attend networking events. Not taking away from networking events at all. So here's where to start, and the truth nobody talks about. You don't need a massive following to grow fast. The secret? Borrowing other people's audiences. While your competitors are grinding away trying to build followers one by one, you can partner with people who already have your ideal clients and tap into their warm, ready-to-buy communities. And I can do a whole webinar just on that one slide. My intention is, by the end of this webinar, you'll be on your way to knowing how to do this with one great sales presentation and present confidently to partner audiences in a way that drives sales, real measurable profit, even if you've never done this before. Now I've got a question for you. Who's run a webinar that totally flopped and no one showed? Drop a me in the chat if you've been there. I've been there. I've been there myself, and I know how this can feel. So let me tell you a story and show you how to fix that. Get yourself in front of a warm, ready audience. No ads, no algorithms to battle, and people will show up. Bit about me. In 2008, I was just another entrepreneur shouting into the void. The painful reality, my dog's treat budget outperformed my revenue. Nobody knew who I was. My email list was woeful, 0 leads, embarrassing sales. If this sounds familiar, I can totally empathize with you. I stared at my inbox thinking, is this thing broken? Then everything changed. I met Julie, a business coaching powerhouse with 5,000 plus warm, engaged email database who were my ideal clients. Julie made me an offer that changed everything. Why don't you do a free presentation for my audience? She said. You bring the content, you make the offer. I'll handle the promotion. We split the sales 50-50. I was all in. Never done webinars before, but I thought, yes, I'm in. On that day, I was nervous, sweating through my shirt, fumbling through my very first sales presentation. It was rough, shaky voice, really bad pacing, 0 clue about conversion. But because Julie believed in me and told her audience to listen, something magical happened. The result from that one presentation, 350 new subscribers, 10 brand new clients, the realization that I was on something huge. Give me a 1 in the chat if you can see how one great partner like Julie in your corner can change things for you. More income, more freedom, more traction without the hustle. Yeah, I can see those ones coming in, and it certainly can make a big difference. And here's where it got even better. Julie introduced me to another partner, same slides, same offer, same me, 10 more clients. Then that partner introduced me to someone else. Exact same presentation, no tweaks. I landed 12 more clients. In just a few months, that one talk brought me 32 new clients, all from other people's audiences, delivering, showing up once, and giving value. No ads, no launch stress, just momentum on repeat. My world's changed a little bit now. I do go through a bit of launch stress at times. Who here is ready to commit to having a story like this and would really like to see that be their story with their webinars? You can just pop a yes in the chat if this is resonating with you and you'd like that to be your story. And I haven't stopped there. It's been a compounding effect. Today's reality, I've got over 10,000 subscribers. I keep my list very clean, multiple 6 figures annually from collaboration, 3,000 plus new leads every year with 0 paid ads, invited back to present again and again. And it all started with just one webinar. And here's just a testimonial from one of my recent clients. Linda said, I'm only 2 weeks into working with Nyrie. She's already opened her Rolodex and connected me with 3 incredible affiliate partners. It should be JV partners with lists of 33,000, 10,000, and another biggie. One hosts a high-profile financial show and wants to interview me. This is next level. So why would someone let you present to their audience? So here are 3 simple reasons. And I'm living proof that they do because I'm here talking to you tonight. They're hungry for fresh content. They want to add value without doing more work. And not that Nick does, but they want to monetize you without the hassle. So it's a real win-win situation. Just imagine accessing a range of high quality joint venture partners that would promote you to their audience. More warm leads signed up for your events, which means you would have much higher attendance rates and conversions. What difference would that make to you? Your story can be just like Linda's. You just need to know what you need to change. And here's really the bottom line. If you're not seeing results and hitting revenue targets with webinars, you're doing something wrong. The issue usually comes down to one or all of 3 things. You're not visible enough, you're not making enough offers, and your pitch is wrong. It's like having a gym membership and only showing up occasionally, not training hard, and wearing the wrong attire to train. Now, when it comes to growing your audience, there are 2 alternative ways here that you can see. You can go through the audience building it yourself side, or you can go through renting or borrowing someone else's audiences. What you're going to find is you've got expensive paid ads on one side, and you've got very cost-effective strategies on the other side. One way you're getting cold leads and they've got to go through your funnel and warm up to you. The other way is you're getting warm leads because you've been recommended by someone, and you're getting optimal personal connection because of the introduction that's being made. With partners, you just need to show up, deliver value, and let your partners do the heavy lifting. And this is a write-it-downer. If you're tired of chasing one sale at a time, no audience equals no sale, and no partners equals no scale. So let's look simplistically at the helicopter view. You create a valuable free presentation, something their audience genuinely wants. Your partner promotes it to their list, sending warm leads your way. You show up, deliver, and engage. That's the model. Simple, powerful, and repeatable. It's hands down the simplest way I've ever scaled without ads, content grind, or chasing cold leads. So drop a yes in the chat if you're following what I'm saying so far. I want to make sure that this is landing with you before I move on. Awesome. Thank you, Josie and Alan. We'll just keep going. Okay, so one of my goals for you today is simple. I want you to decide which growth strategy is the smartest move for you. Building from scratch by yourself or borrowing other people's audiences. And I want you to make a commitment to yourself to commit to one for the next 12 months, because growing good joint venture partnerships, if that's the route you're actually choosing, takes time. So you need to commit to one or the other, otherwise it's too hard to chase two rabbits. Now let me unpack for you the critical parts of a high converting webinar and sales presentation, and then introduce you to Ava, who can help you build your entire launch sequence and webinar all in one sitting. We're talking probably 45 to 60 minutes here. These 5 critical proven components make webinars convert at the highest level. Firstly, your headline determines 70% of registrations and attendance decisions. Most people struggle here, creating vague, nondescript, have no element of curiosity, and simply don't get the job done. And here's a very simple one, not my favorite by far, but option A is webinar training workshop, and option B is how to secure 3 to 5 new clients monthly using webinars without cold outreach or aggressive sales approaches. You can see how choice B would win hands down and attract more people than would option A. The second crucial element focuses on your presentation's opening 8 to 10 minutes. This establishes why your message matters before diving into your main content. Without clever positioning, your audience won't be engaged or ready to receive what you're teaching. You need to create context first, just like I did when discussing webinars, and asking questions at the start of this session. I use a simple system called the 3D framework. It's about desires and tapping into what your audience wants, difficulties, understanding what's stopping them from getting there, and discovery, the solution you're about to reveal to the problem that they have to relieve the pain that they're in. Having said that, the number one webinar mistake that kills sales is over-teaching. It backfires and kills conversions. Cramming too much information overwhelms instead of converting. The real goal of your presentation isn't to overwhelm with information. It's to present a new opportunity. Your offer is the bridge from stuck to success. Faster, easier, with less overwhelm. It's about leading your audience to the next logical step. So when it comes to how much and what to demonstrate or teach, word of caution here. Most presenters jump straight into teaching mode, and they share tip after tip, fire hosing people with information. Big fail, because you haven't explained why people should care or pay attention. The 80-20 presentation rule for effective sales is sharing 80% context and concepts and 20% supporting content. So what does this mean? Context is why this matters to them. Concepts are big picture ideas and frameworks. Content is the examples, the stats, the demonstrations that support everything else. Most people flip this ratio, resulting in a presentation that informs but doesn't convert. And all you are doing is over-teaching and turning buyers into bystanders. The third crucial element focuses on your 7-minute personal narrative. Explaining your discovery builds credibility and answers why trust and your expertise. If you don't do this well, you'll end up in a trust recession with no sales. And I use a very simple framework for this. I use what I call the before, the during, and after phase. And you'll see Ava doing this really well. So what you're doing is you're talking about before you made your discovery, describing the aha moment, and what you did after the discovery. So this narrative builds trust and answers the critical question, why should I listen to you? Keep your story tight and focus on what insights matter and why you're the right person to teach it, okay? So it's very important that you do keep that tight. The fourth crucial element focuses on the teaching section or your success path roadmap. Your success path roadmap is simply the step-by-step process you use to help clients achieve their goals. It's a visual sequence of the steps that show you how to deliver results in a clear and easy to understand sequence. And you may have seen this analogy before, but it's one I love. Your ideal client is stuck on one side of a canyon with a problem. Your offer is the bridge to the other side where it's solved. That bridge is your process, the steps and the strategies you demonstrate so your audience sees the opportunity and takes action. Right now, I'm showing you a roadmap for high converting webinars at a high level. And here's an example I use for my AI-powered messaging webinars. It's a clear step-by-step framework that flows from left to right. And I can walk people really easy through this during my presentation. It's a new path, a new opportunity that they didn't know existed. And if your presentation isn't built around a process like this, you're likely teaching the wrong content and missing the chance to convert. Structure is important. And the final critical component, your call to action and compelling value add bonuses. Your offer is the primary factor determining your webinar's success or failure. Most conversion issues stem from offer problems. If sales are struggling, examine your offer first and the added value that you bring to the table. And this is really important. When I analyze webinars, I start looking at the offer generally first. That is after I've watched the entire webinar. And there are two types of webinar offers. You've got your lead generation, which is to generate sales conversions or sales conversations or sales calls. And the second one is direct selling, where you take them directly to a checkout page. So if you're doing, for example, if you're doing the sales conversation or sales calls and you're doing the lead generation, then that's the product. Everything in your presentation leads to that moment. What you're really selling them on at that time is the conversation with you. So just keep those two in mind. And it's very much about your pitching point as far as price goes, as to which direction and what your funnel looks like at the back end of that, as to which way you would go in offering that. So what I'd like to do now is just stop sharing my screen for a minute. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to share Ava with you. Just give me a second to change my screen over. Okay, great. Okay, so I'm just going to share Ava with you to give you a bit of a look at what she does. And this is just part of the suite of tools that we use, AI tools that we've developed in our program, and we use them for a number of programs that we do. So can everyone see my screen and see Ava? Okay, fantastic. So what I've done for the purpose of this demonstration tonight is we've got a separate bot for lead generation, and we've got a separate bot for the direct sales presentation for webinars. And I've pre-prepared some content here. Okay, so I'll just grab that And what you can see here, she's saying, hi, I'm Ava, your helpful webinar writing buddy. To get started, I need a little bit of information. What is your name? What is your core problem you solve with your program or service? Who is your ideal client? Describe them in as much detail as you can. Tell me how you solve the core problem for your ideal client. Share a bit about the product or service you'd like to promote with this webinar. Optional but helpful. If you have a link to a sales page or any other web pages that help me to understand your business and offer, please share those links. Once you share that information, give me just a moment to review and then we'll get started. Now, with the clients I work with, we've already done all this pre-work. And if it's a done for you service, I've done all the pre-work for them and then they've agreed to what I've come up with. Okay, so what I do is I've just taken the content that I've prepared for this presentation and I've pasted it into Ava, and here she goes. So she said, thank you, Julie. Here's what I've had so far. And she's just confirming name, core problem you solve, ideal client and their problem, how you solve it, product or service. And then she's asking me, is this correct and complete before we continue? If you want to add anything like a specific product, program name or link, or to a sales page, let me know now. And you'll find with Ava all the way through, she will check in with you and you can add and change and tweak. And at the end of everything, you can actually download everything from Ava. And she doesn't just do your webinar presentation. What she does at the end, and she does this in sections, she goes through, she'll do the whole thing. She'll do all your social media posts, all of your emails, right through to post-launch or affiliate emails, or your registration page, or your sales page, or your thank you page, or your checkout page. She does completely everything you need for a webinar launch, okay? So for the purpose of this, I'm just going to say yes to Ava, that's good. So she's just working on that. So I'm saying yes, that's all good. Away she goes. Fantastic, Julie. Let's create a captivating, attention-grabbing headline for your webinar. Here are 5 options tailored to your offer and audience. And what she's come up with here is 5 potential headlines for your webinar. So they're the titles for your webinar. And what Ava does, we've got pre-prepared slides and she actually matches those to the slides and you'll see how this works as you go along. So please choose your favorite headline or let me know if you want any revisions or a new direction. Once you select, we'll move on to the benefit bullet points. This is following the actual structure and the process that we teach and is templated on the slide decks. So I'm just going to choose one for the demonstration, which is the expert's blueprint. So she's working on that and I'll just take a sip of water while she's doing that. Fantastic, Julie. Now let's craft 5 clear, enticing benefit bullets that will make ideal attendees eager to register for your webinar. Here are the 5 options for you. So she's given me 5 options for the bullet points based on what I've put in. And she's checked with me, how do these sound, want to tweak or add anything, or move on to the next full webinar slides. So I'm just going to say, yes, they're fine. I'm going to say, yes, they're good. But I could actually tell her or ask her to revise it or interject anything that I like back into here as we're going along as well. Okay, awesome. Let's dive into the webinar slides. So the intrigue opening, what we call the intrigue opening, and this is matched to the slide templates. So what she's got here is here's how we'll kick things off, warm, real and inviting with a dash of anticipation. So what she's given me here is the content for the first 5 slides. And then she's asked me, how do you feel about these slides? Want to make any adjustments or are we good to move on to framing the new opportunity? So what she's done here, she's completely explained what is going to be covered and what is going to happen during the course of the webinar in the first 5 slides. So I'm going to say, happy to move on. But like I said, I can ask her to change or revise anything that I don't like. So she's just thinking on that, working through that process. Okay. Okay, so now she says framing the opportunity. We're going to dig into what you want, what's been getting in the way, and why this approach is different. Here's how the next step of slides will flow. So now she's gone through and she's given me the content for the slides 6, 7, 8, right through to 11. So she's actually laying the framework of the new opportunity and what it means for people. Okay, and she's taken me down. Okay, and she's gone right through to slide 18. And she then says, this is what I call the expert's blueprint. So she's gone through that whole process of explaining the new opportunity. Once again, she's checking in with me. And I'm just going to say, yes, I am happy. So you can see she's just framing the whole thing up for you as you go along. And then we get to your discovery story information. Before we continue, I want to make this next part really personal and relatable. Could you please tell me about your own journey? And I've got the discovery story already prepared over here for you. So I'll just take this and copy and paste this into the chat. She says just a few sentences would do if that's what you would like. You could always tell her to always, if you've got this on a website, give her the URL for your website as well, and for that particular page to draw the information from, or any other resources that you would like to give her. So thank you for sharing your story. This is gold. I'll weave this journey into your discovery story slides, keeping it real and relatable. So here she goes with the discovery story slides, slides 19 through to 28. Do you want to make any changes to these slides, or do we go to the roadmap to results? So what she's done here, she's talked about up here, what was happening for me beforehand. You might be wondering how I figured all this out. But on the inside, I was struggling. I was essentially the classic service provider. So she's talking about that. The turning point came. So she's going through that aha moment. And then she comes down to what this led to today. I'm just going to say, yes, I'm happy again. I don't want any changes. And she's just working on the next part of the slide presentation. Okay, and then she's going to go through the roadmap to results. Do you already have a step-by-step process or framework you teach your clients to help them achieve results? If so, could you share the names or a quick outline of these steps? Or would you like me to help you come up with a roadmap that fits your approach or audience? She will actually go through this and do that for you if you don't have a model. And if you ask her, she can even come up with a range of models for you to actually look at. But what I've got today, I've already got one set out here. So I'm just going to copy and paste the model into there for her to work with, for Ava to work with. And she's just thinking that through at the moment. Okay, excellent framework, Julie. This is the visibility, viability, velocity model. It is clear, compelling, and perfectly aligned with the journey your ideal clients need to take. Okay. Using this exact structure, I'll build out the slides for your roadmap. Are you happy with these names and the order? And I'm going to say, yes, I'm happy with my model. I don't want any tweaks or changes there. I don't need any further input. So Ava is just working on that. And what she's doing now is she's building out for each particular silo which I had, which was visibility, viability, and velocity. First off, she's building out the visibility section of the slide presentation, taking me through to slide 42. And now she's going to build out the viability. So I'm going to say, yes, I'm happy. I can ask her to tweak it if I like. And she will start building out the viability section of the presentation now as well. Then once she gets past this, she's done the viability section now, which is taking us down to slide 55, and now she's going to build out the velocity section. So I'm going to say, yes, I'm happy with that. Down we go. And she's working on that. Okay, so great. She's done the velocity now. So she's done right through our slide presentation. So she's done the whole lot of it for us. And she's just asking now, am I happy with these? And am I happy to move on to the transition to the offer? So I'm going to say, yes, happy to move on, which is the lead generation, which is taking them to a call. This is not a direct sale presentation as such. So she's preparing for that. So what she's done now, she's moving into transition. Okay, so she's doing a recap on everything here. She's recapping on the model. Now, let me ask you a question. Just from what we've covered in the last 45 minutes, did you get some value here today? So she's starting to check in with people, okay? And she talks about the concepts we've talked about today are powerful, but they're also simple by design, but they're lacking strategy. So with those slides, she's taken me down to slide 73, and I'm just going to confirm for the purpose of the demonstration that I'm happy with all of that. And she's going to move on to the call booking generation for us. So she's just working through that. Okay, and she's given us options here for your lead generation call booking. You can call it the program clarity session, scalable roadmap call. So she's given us, you can see 5 options here. Which one would you like to use for your call? If you'd like other options, you can ask her to do that. Let's just pick number 4 for the sake of the exercise, which is the expert to authority breakthrough call. So she's working on that. And it's really important that you name your calls and make them a little bit more interesting than just book a call. Okay. Okay, great choice. This is what we'll call it. So here she's actually taking us through the call name, what is going to happen, getting crystal clear, outlining your irresistible program, mapping your simple client attraction system. So she's going through what will actually happen on the call, okay? And this call is my gift to you for showing up today, okay? So she's placing it as a gift. So please confirm if you're happy with these slides, and I'm going to say yes, okay? And she's thinking away again. And what she's going to do now is she's compiling the whole script for us, okay? So she's going right now from slide 1 right through to the end slide. So every single slide you need for your presentation. And then once she gets through this and confirms that we're happy with that, she will then ask questions like, would you like to move on to your landing page, your registration page, your emails, your affiliate marketing emails, all sorts of things like that. So just because of the sake of time today, I'll stop the share now and just return to the presentation. So that's given you a bit of a taste of Ava. So I hope you like that and that you got some value out of that. And what I'm going to do is just go back to presenting, okay? And these are just a couple of other testimonials that I got. I tested Ava and couldn't believe the quality of content it generated. The way it organized text in perfectly structured slides is amazing. Saved me hours of work. So that's one of my clients. This is another client I worked with. I did a whole done for you service for her. She said it was a complete game changer. She took all the work off my plate, delivered a high quality converting webinar that felt 100% authentic to my brand. Nyrie has a rare ability to cut through confusion and focus on what actually drives results. The content her team created was exceptional and feels genuinely like me, seamless, grounded, and refreshingly human. If webinar creation and getting traffic feel overwhelming, this is the solution. Nyrie made it simple, powerful, and honestly enjoyable. And to top it off, I'm getting people signing up for my retreats. And we're actually getting JV partners for that particular client at the moment as well. So we've covered a number of things, just helicopter overview, how to borrow other people's audiences, how to actually present powerful online presentations, the 5 critical components of a high converting client getting presentation, the 7 challenges in the partner pitch profit method. We've covered that. And the real cost of the opportunity cost of really not getting on board with, recruiting really good aligned partners, which is essential to your success. That is a real opportunity cost. And the key thing I'd like you to think about is, will you act before your competition? Because believe me, your competition are getting geared up with good JV partners and using quality JV managers to do it, not going it alone. So it's definitely the fastest way to get warm leads is by borrowing that trust. And this system that we actually provide for our clients will give people the scripts and the support to do it right. So what is really simple in concept, really the magic is in the execution and the nitty-gritty. So what I'd just like to say to you this evening, I want to thank you for your time. I'd like to encourage you and offer you the gift of a Webinar Profit Partner Accelerator call if you'd like to do that. And I've also got a free lead magnet which analyzes, it's an AI magnet, a lead magnet that analyzes your sales funnel to see where it's leaking. And that's called the AI funnel detective. So thank you very much. And really, any questions? And thank you, Rob, for those kind words. Thank you, Christian. Okay.
And I've dropped those links in for both of those things that Nyrie mentioned into chat as well. So you'll want to follow those and grab those. So any hands up, any questions at all? I sort of think there's hopefully a burning desire for some of you to get out there to start creating some webinars, or at least partnering with people to get in front of their audiences. Lots of thanks, Nyrie. No questions. You've done a sensational job.
Thanks, Nick. It's a pleasure being here. It was great. I love presenting and I love helping people to actually ensure that they are not only getting the most that they can out of their webinars and optimizing their webinars, but getting good JV partners. And I think one of the critical things with JV partnerships, people think it's a really simple process, and then by just hitting people up on LinkedIn, it's all going to work. Well, that's not the case, because a lot of people will promise you the world but deliver nothing. Getting good JV partners is essentially a full-time job. And it does take a bit of a runway to do that, especially if you want to get into the States and the UK, and actually just getting good partners with lists that will resonate with your list and watching all the metrics around that. Really, really important work. And it's, you know, it should be treated like a part of your business development strategy that is really important, that should have a dedicated resource to it, is what I'm trying to say. So if you're going out there, I've done it myself and trying to do that on LinkedIn, and that very, very hard to get any traction and, you know, really get the rubber to the road with joint venture partners.
And with the joint venture partners, Nyrie, let's say for someone like me who does webinars, for instance, would I prepare all the material for them, or do you expect them to just email their list and start and create their promotions for you?
No, you've got to prepare all that. You've really got to spoon feed your JV partners. So like when we provide the service, you follow up with them, you're sending emails out for stats and everything. You're letting them know how things are tracking. You're getting on Zoom calls, you're keeping that relationship going and building that relationship all the time. But no, you provide all the resources for them, and you make it as easy as possible for them. Because even though you might have affiliate portals or JV portals that you'll set up to track everything which you need to have for your JV partners or affiliate partners, I can tell you now, 9 out of 10 of them won't log into it. They will want you to send them the links, the emails, all ready to go, the social media stuff. No, you've got to spoon feed them.
100%. That is definitely my experience as well too. You can have the best systems in the world, but sometimes the manual stuff is really what gets through, isn't it?
Well, everybody's busy and you're asking them to do something for you. Like, you're expecting reciprocation back, of course, and you're going to reciprocate for them with a good JV partnership. But at the same time, they give you that courtesy back. So I always believe if you treat people well in that respect, they will return the courtesy on the whole.
And is there any expectation or formula around payment, or you know, like payments with your JV partners, or is it really sort of you know, I'll send out to my list if you send out to yours? How does that sort of relationship all work?
It really depends on whether it's an affiliate partner or a JV partner. And I tell you what, there's so many nuances to it. It could be a straight reciprocal process where you send 3 emails, or you send 5 emails for me, I'll send 5 for you. Okay, but it could be another situation where you're trying to actually get a JV partner that's got a list much bigger than yours. In saying that, I must say too that list size does not mean everything. Small lists can work really well, but if you're chasing bigger partners and you're looking at vanity metrics around that, then it could be that you offer to actually send for them first. And if your list really resonates for that, then you start building that relationship. So you might just do that off your back to actually get a foot in the door with them. So there are so many different ways you can actually do JV partnership. It's not funny. And there's ways you can do joint webinars as well with them. So there's one of the key things I do with my JV partners when I'm building up that relationship, especially when they're really well-known figures and I really want to get a foot in the door with them, is I get them to the stage where I can actually present to their mastermind groups and things like that. And that gives them, I'm giving before I'm expecting back. So it really depends on the nuance around it.
Excellent. David, you've got your hand up.
I have. So your JV partners are mainly centered around webinars. Would that be right? Or webinars is just one part?
Webinars is just one part. And we've got AV partners that do a whole range of things. It really depends on, you know, who you're a good JV partner and what that looks like for you.
Yeah. Yeah, no, the JV partners is a very crucial part. And so we prepare and optimize and sell businesses. So we work in with some of the coaches and consultants now to add another service to them. So as the business broker, we're like the silent broker behind the scene because they've already had the relationship. And obviously they need someone with a license to follow it through. So that's very powerful in that space as well. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Excellent. All right. Well, I think that's all we've got time for tonight. So if anyone wants to get in touch with you, Nyrie, what's the best way for them to do that?
You've got my email there, so you can send me an email. That's the quickest way to get my attention. You can contact me on LinkedIn as well. However, I'm not always on LinkedIn every day, but email is definitely the best way.
Excellent. So I've dropped Nyrie's email into the chat there. So those of you who want to save it, you'll have it there. And there's a door prize for tonight as well too. So tell us, what's the door prize for tonight?
Sure. So with the lead magnet I've offered, which is the AI funnel detective, on the back end of that, there's a couple of upsells on that, and that's valued at over, it's about $467, I think, value. So I'm gifting that to the lucky door prize winner tonight.
Fabulous. So there should be no excuse for anyone, for the person that wins this, not getting a webinar done.
You're knowing what's
All
wrong
right.
with their sales funnel.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's bring up our special wheel of names. All of your names are in it, except for David Fisher and Paul Kennedy. No, actually, your names are still in it. So the way this works is that we spin the wheel, and the one that this lands on is the lucky winner of the prize that is being provided by Nyrie. But there is a caveat. You have to be in the room. So do not disappear now to refill that glass of wine, go to the toilet, do that sort of thing. This is the time that you are likely to win. So let's spin the wheel, see who our lucky winner is tonight. And around she goes. And our lucky winner tonight is Jeff Summers. Congratulations. Are you still here, Jeff? Better have a look through the participant list. Oh, there he is. He's waving madly there. So well done, man. How good is that, Jeff? That is absolutely perfect for your business, isn't it? I can't actually hear you but I'm reading your lips at the moment.
Yeah, it's the first time I've won.
The first time. Well, there you go. Well,
Yeah, I don't win much usually.
If previous history is anything to go by, you are now going to be in a run to win 3 or 4 times when you go up. So well done, Jeff.
Yeah.
We will connect you with Nyrie by email tomorrow, or feel free to get in touch with her. Her details are down there as well too, to claim your prize there. So very good. All right. Well, thanks, Jeff. If you've enjoyed tonight's session, let's give Nyrie a huge round of applause for everything she shared tonight. I know for me, it's been sensational, so much gold and all that there. I love the webinar space, and there's always more to learn. And tonight there was a heap to learn. So thank you, Nyrie. I really appreciate that.
You're absolutely welcome.
If you do want to watch it again, it will be up on the Smashgo YouTube channel tomorrow afternoon. If you want to share it with someone and you know someone else may be interested in it, again, point them to the Smashgo YouTube channel. Let them know it'll be up there tomorrow afternoon. Or feel free to grab the link and send it through to them. These episodes now are also going up onto Spotify and iTunes, so it is a podcast. So this one will be a few weeks out. But make sure you subscribe to either Spotify or Apple iTunes or Apple Podcasts, whichever one is the one that you enjoy. And we've got video up there in those platforms as well. Well, certainly Spotify we do, but I think if you're on Apple Podcasts, then you can go and listen to it while you're at the gym, out walking, cycling, whatever you do for your exercise. So that's our session for tonight. I should say one other thing as well too. You will have seen the program that we've got coming up starting next week, which is all about creating evergreen funnels before Christmas. So when you take your time off over Christmas, it's all about setting up funnels that just keep going and going and going. And they're the ones that will bring you in leads and sales as well. So the next 6 weeks from the 4th of November, that there is where we're running the session to not only to teach you how to do it, but actually get your funnels up and working. And we will be using Go High Level. You don't have to use it, but you'll get it, if you're not on it already, you'll get a free trial of it so you can start to, or so that you can implement it and have something working fully. If you get the model and you're on something else, that's all good. You can always transfer it over there, but really it is to make sure that you've got something that works. So if you're interested in that, we've dropped the link into chat as well too. So go and check that out. It's at go.smashgo.co. And, if it sounds like you're welcome to come and join that as well too. All right, well, that is our session for tonight. Thank you again, Nyrie, for coming to share with us. Thank you, everyone, for coming in. And hopefully you've got something to take away and learn. And look forward to seeing you all again next week. Go and enjoy your evening.